Hey guys, let us continue with our environment series. So now we are starting with the terrestrial ecosystem. Terrestrial ecosystem are characterized by greater temperature. So terrestrial ecosystem is basically the land area. We already completed the aquatic ecosystem, which is related to the water, and this one is related to land. Of course, land will have greater temperature fluctuation on both a diurnal and a seasonal basis. The availability of light is great in terrestrial ecosystem than in aquatic ecosystem. So here we'll have the temperature fluctuation either like on a daily basis or on seasonal basis, and the light is also greater in terrestrial. So how can we classify the terrestrial ecosystem? We are classifying into tundra, forest, grassland and desert type. So tundra is more like a cold region. Forest is more similar to, like there are further types of forest in that: coniferous, temperate deciduous, temperate evergreen, temperate rainforest, tropical rain, tropical seasonal and subtropical rainforest. So these are some of the further types in it. Then grassland ecosystem, we have semi-arid zone, dry subhumid, moist subhumid, humid montane, and under the desert ecosystem we have hot and cold desert. So under the biomes we have the tundra biome, taiga, temperate deciduous, tropical rainforest, savanna, grassland and desert. So now what are the types of desert and their features? First one being the tundra desert. First type is the tundra biome. Here we saw, right, the first one, tundra. Now what are the features? Tundra, it literally means the barren land. Two types are there. One is the Arctic one and the other one is sulfide. Arctic tundra extends as a continuous belt between the polar ice cap and above the tree line in northern hemisphere. That is basically we have this various zone. Here we have Arctic. So Arctic tundra, it extends from polar ice cap to the tree line in northern hemisphere. So this particular topmost region is the Arctic tundra. And the South Pole Antarctic tundra is in the South Pole is very small. So they say the South Pole one is comparatively very small. This is Antarctic tundra. The flora is a kind of floral thing, that is the flowers and related stuff. Available there are cotton grass, sedges, dwarf, then heath, willows, birches, and then lichens. And if we look at the fauna, the type of animal that is found here are the reindeer, musk deer, ox. It's musk ox. Arctic hare is a kind of rabbit, caribou, lemmings and squirrel. So this is that particular tundra region. So we are going to look about the next type of biome, which is desert. It will occupy 1/7 of the earth's surface. So desert occupy 1/7 of the earth's surface. They are formed in the region with less than 25 centimeter of annual rainfall. So deserts, they occupy 1/7 of the earth's surface. And area which have less than 25 centimeter of annual rainfall is called desert, and there are two types in desert also, like hard desert and cold desert. Example, Thar desert, and for cold desert it is Ladakh and Leh, which is basically in the northern India, Jammu. So here the floral types available are cacti. Of course, desert will have only cactus at most, and some prickling trees. So cacti, acacia, euphorbia and prickly pears. Now what are the fauna available? It is shrew, fox, wood rat, rabbit, camel, goat, rodents and some insects. So these are, as we saw, 1/7 of the world is desert. So these are the desert area. Okay. Then it's about the grassland biome. Of course, grassland will have grasses at most. Then it will occupy somewhere around 20% of the land on Earth's surface. Among the land area, 20% is grassland. Tropical grassland are commonly called savannas. Important. So tropical grassland also known as savanna. So they occur in the Eastern Africa, South America, Australia and India. Here the flora are grasses are the dominating plants. Of course, grassland will have grasses at most with scarred, drought-resistant thorny trees. Now, faunas available are badger, fox, ass, zebra, and antelope. These are some of the fauna available. So, yeah, this is a particular grassland ecosystem. And then we'll move on to the taiga biome. It accounts for the lowest annual average temperature. So taiga, as we already saw, this is found majorly in the Arctic and Antarctic part. So which is the colder area. So lowest annual average temperature after the tundra. Sorry, that is tundras. I am very sorry. Tundra is like Arctic and Antarctic part is called tundra. And the next lowest temperature will be in taiga. So extreme minimum temperature of taiga are typically lower than those of, so in extreme case the taiga temperature it will go even below the tundra ones. So the soils will have no nutrition because the temperature is very poor. The trees are coniferous. Coniferous is kind of sharp needle-like trees, leaves. So most of the species of taiga are the spruce, fir, pine and are evergreen. So taiga is a region which is next to tundra. If tundra is in the topmost layer, below that is taiga. So the next next we are going to talk about the forest ecosystem. So what are the type of forest and their features? First one being coniferous. These are the sharp needle-like leaf kind of thing. So these trees grow mainly in the cold region with high rainfall. The kind of trees available are spruce, fir, pine, and the kind of animals are bear, red fox, and then porcupine. The soil is mostly acidic and it is mineral deficient soil. So the next kind of forest is temperate deciduous forest. So what is this temperate deciduous forest? It have the temperate area as the middle area. If we have, this is the earth, this is tropical first zone. So this middle one is called temperate. This is temperate, both in the north and south. In the extreme north and south will have the frigid zone. This is temperate, this middle one. So temperate deciduous forest, here will have the moderate climate and the flora are broad-leaved tree. So they have broad leaf and the kind of soil is podozoic and it is fairly deep. So sorry. So podozoic is a kind of soil which is present only in the deciduous forest kind of area, which have comparatively lesser organic matter in the soil. So the next one is temperate evergreen. Here we will have the Mediterranean climate. In temperate deciduous we had moderate and here we have Mediterranean climate. So summers are dry and winters are wet. Forest fire is an important hazardous factor. So the next kind is temperate rainforest. It marks the seasonality, high rainfall and heavy fog will also be there. So the next type is tropical. We'll look into it. So it has occur near equator. Of course we saw it will be near equator. And the flora is highly diverse vine. So this one is tropical rainforest. We also have creepers and bromeliads. The type of soil in tropical rainforest is red latosols and they are thick. So next type is tropical seasonal. They are called seasonal means monsoonal, like monsoon forest, and they are pronounced wet and dry periods are there. And the next one is subtropical forest. Even they have broad-leaved tree, and the epiphytes are the common kind of plants. So both the temperate deciduous and also the subtropical forest, both of them have broad-leaf tree. So now let us look into the forest in India. First we are going to discuss about the tropical evergreen forest. Where are they found? They are found in the western slope of Western Ghats. Both are western slope of Western Ghats, and also in the northeast region and in the Andaman and Nicobar Island. So these are the places we'll have tropical evergreen forest, and we'll have the rainfall which is greater than 200 centimeter, and the species found in Indian tropical evergreen forest are rosewood, mahogany, ebony and ivy. And the next one is about the semi-evergreen forest. They are found in the western slope of Western Ghats, like the evergreen only, and also in the northeast. Then Andaman and Nicobar Island, similar one. So the next, the amount of rainfall, it is less rainier parts of the same. So if we have more than 200 centimeter of rainfall, which is evergreen, semi-evergreen is the less rainier areas. So the trees growing here are white cedar, haulax and kale. So the next type is moist deciduous forest. They are found in the foothills of Himalaya and then eastern slope of Western Ghats. So about two things we saw, they are found in the western slope of Western Ghats, whereas moist deciduous forests are found in the eastern slope of Western Ghats, and they are also prominent in the Odisha region and the foothills of Himalayas. Other things, the above two things we saw, they are in the northeast region, and here the rainfall is like it is between 100 to 200. There we saw there will be more than 200 centimeter of rainfall. So some of the trees grown here are teak, sal, sisham, hura, mau, amla, seol, kusum and sandalwood. So the next type of forest is about the dry deciduous forest. They are the rainier regions of peninsula and the plains of UP and Bihar. So relatively drier areas like UP and Bihar, and also in the rainier regions of peninsula. Here the rainfall amount is very less, like they are between 70 to 100 only. So the trees found here are teak in higher rainfall region and tendu, pala, amalthas, bale, care, axlewood. They are in the lower rainfall regions. So the higher rainfall region trees are teak and so basically teak. So next type is tropical thorn forest. So the rainfall is less than 50 centimeter, and babul is a kind of tree, and they are the semi-arid. So they are the semi-arid regions of the southwestern Punjab, Haryana, Rajasthan, Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh and UP. So basically these are the desert region. And the other type of trees are wild date palms, khair, neem, kejri, pala, tusoki. These are the grass which are greater than 2 meter. And the next type of forest is littoral and swamp forest. They are the reservoirs of Deccan Plateau, lagoons of southwest coast, saline expanses of Rajasthan, Gujarat, Kutch, freshwater lake and reservoirs of Gujarat. So these are the main reservoirs in the Deccan Plateau, and also the lagoon area, and also the saline area in this Rajasthan and Gujarat states. So even they have the rainfall of more than 200 centimeter, because they are mostly related to water reservoir and saline kind of area, right? So even they have more amount of rainfall. Mangroves are the type of littoral forest only, and the variety of birds. So we are done with the ecosystem, that is terrestrial ecosystem part. Will begin with the next topic, which is biodiversity. The term biodiversity refers to the variety and variability among living organisms and the ecological complex in which they occur. So bio is living and diversity is the variety or diverse nature of living organism. So it can be defined as the totality of genes, species and ecosystem of a region. So it's basically the total amount or number of gene, species or ecosystem in a particular region. So what are the levels of biodiversity? There are three levels. Genetic diversity, that is diversity at the gene level, species diversity and ecosystem diversity. So these are basically those three types: genetic, species and ecosystem. Genetic means variation in the gene with the particular species. Genetic diversity gives various characteristics to a given species. If we have black hair, or if we have a dark skin or fairest skin tone, it's basically because of our gene. So it gives particular characteristic trait to every species. Example: human beings genetically belong to the Homo sapiens group, but differ in characteristics such as height, color, physical appearance. So yeah, we all human beings are Homo sapiens, but we have different characteristic trait. This is because of our gene. This is the genetic diversity. The genetic diversity is essential for a healthy breeding of population of species. So the next kind of diversity is species diversity. This refers to the number of and variety of species on the earth. There are many variety of species living on this earth. It is a ratio of one species population over the total number of organisms across all species in the given biome. So diversity, species diversity means one type divided by the total number of organisms. So the diversity of species can be measured through its richness, abundance and types. Group of individual organisms having certain similarity in their physical characteristic are called species. For example, human species. We all belong to the same species, that is human being. So the next kind of diversity is about the ecosystem diversity. Refers to the different type of habitat or ecosystem. For example, grassland ecosystem. All those creatures or species living in the grassland or one type. And then wetland, desert ecosystem, mangrove ecosystem, tropical rainforest are some of the examples of ecosystem. The nature of ecosystem forces the species to adapt and hence leading to diversity in species. Ecosystem is the, so this is the definition of ecosystem. It is the structural and functional unit of biosphere consisting of community of living beings. So next we are going to look into the measurement of biodiversity. So we can measure it by either the species richness or the species evenness. So what is the difference between the two? Species richness, it represents the number of different species in a given habitat or region. Low richness indicates, so I think it's incomplete. Okay, species richness is like if we have which species is rich in a area. For example, this is an area. Here we will have just 5 rabbit, whereas here we might have hundreds of elephants. So this region is rich in elephant, and we might have only one human being living here. So what is the species richness? Here we have hundreds of elephants. This is the species richness. Whereas in case of species evenness, it is a measure of relative abundance of different species in the area. Low evenness indicate that a few species dominate the site. So evenness is here. If we look into the same example, this first example we saw 5 rabbit, 100 elephant, and 1 human being. Here we have less evenness, low evenness. So here one species dominant, that is elephant. So this is kind of species richness. It will become the example of species richness. If we consider an example where we have 5 rabbit, 5 elephant, 5 rat kind of thing, or 5 will take it as rabbit. So more or less we have even number of species. Even if it is 5 or 6, that doesn't matter. More or less we have the even number of species, different species which are even in number. There may be hundreds of elephant in an area, and there can be hundreds of frog in that area itself. So this is a kind of species evenness. So this is the basic measurement of biodiversity, species richness and evenness. So indicators used by ecologists to measure diversity. There are 3 indicators: alpha, beta and gamma. First one is alpha diversity. It refers to the diversity of organisms sharing the same community or habitat. A combination of species, richness and evenness is used to represent the diversity within a community or habitat. So within a community, if we look at the species richness and species evenness or the kind of diversity in the same community, if we look in the compare in the same community, it is alpha. And what about beta? Here it indicates the diversity between community. So species frequently change when habitat or community changes. There are differences in species composition of community along environmental gradients like latitudinal gradient, moisture gradient, thereby increasing the dissimilarity between community. So between communities, like here we might have community 1 and here we have community 2. Sorry. So between the two community, if we compare them, it's called beta diversity. And gamma diversity is the comparison of diversity of the habitat over the total landscape or geographical area. For example, here we have this. It's like comparing the African ecosystem or biome with the Asian one. So this kind of comparison between the different habitats or landscape or the geographical area, this is called gamma diversity. Now what are the gradients of biodiversity? Biodiversity is not uniform on Earth. It varies with change in latitude or altitude. So of course, if we look at the hilly areas, human beings population will be lesser in the land area, more in the land area than in the hilly area, will have less population. Similarly, if we look at the for different species, there are certain species which are more in hilly areas. So this is kind of biodiversity. They are not uniform. It changes with altitude and also along with the latitude. which is there are certain species which are more in the temperate region than the tropical, and there are certain species which are more in tropical regions and vice versa. So biodiversity basically increases when we sorry, move from high to low altitude, that is high altitude to low altitude, that is hill. Just now we saw this one. In the hilly region, we'll have less people. If we come to the land area, we'll have more people. So the biodiversity it increases, not just in hills but also in pole to equator. We come down from poles. Biodiversity increases in the tropical and equator zones. Biodiversity in tropic is higher. So in tropic area, we have the rich biodiversity comparing to the temperate area, because we have the severe climate change. Similarly, the species diversity decreases from lower to higher altitude on a mountain. Yeah, see. In case of mountain, it decreases from lower to higher. Now let's look into the benefits and threats of biodiversity.